Williams Formula One and Nicholas Latifi are parting ways at the end of the 2022 season. This has now been confirmed. It has been common knowledge that 27-year-old Latifi has not been living up to expectations, that his seat has been under threat for some time now. Williams has been underperforming since Latifi's 2020 debut, so he hasn't had the easiest time. Keep watching for an in-depth look at the Williams-Latifi split and other news about the way forward for both the driver and the team. First up, the announcement. Latifi announced his departure on social media. "So I'm parting ways with Williams Racing at the end of the year," he wrote. "Honored to have represented them for the last 3 years. A massive thanks to the whole team. It's been an incredible journey and I've enjoyed every second of it." There are all kinds of questions his departure raises, not least of which is whether his billionaire father will continue to sponsor the Williams team. We'll bring you that and more in a bit. Okay, it's all looking amiable. Latifi got behind the wheel for Williams in 55 Grand Prix, but his run is now officially over. He never looked like he had what it took to be competitive in this pinnacle racing series, even though he showed plenty of promise back when he joined the sport. He only managed to accumulate 7 championship points. This is a sobering reminder of his struggle to get his driving up to the standard of the world's best drivers. In the end, Williams had no other option but to part ways with the Canadian driver. Jost Capito, the team principal and CEO, said, "On behalf of the whole team, I would like to say an enormous thank you to Nicholas for his 3 years of hard work with Williams. He is a great team player who has a great attitude towards his colleagues and work and is well liked and respected throughout the business. Our time together is now coming to an end, but I know he will put full effort into maximizing what we can do together for the remainder of the season. We wish him all the very best of luck for his future, both in and out of the cockpit." But who will drive with Alex Albon in 2023? Stay with us as we try to find out. Now, Williams is looking to the future. The team management is now considering their options for 2023. They need a driver to partner with Alex Albon. At this point, Nick de Vries seems to be a lead candidate, but Mick Schumacher's name also seems to be in the hat. But was Latifi's performance really that bad? Latifi made his Formula One debut in 2020, and he's not exactly set motor racing alight with his brilliance. He languished at the back of the grid, and his teammates were always faster than him. But Williams is a cash-strapped team and needed all the financial support it could get, and Latifi had the backing of his father's billions. It turned out, though, that his dad's money was the only thing going for Latifi. His on-track errors were more prevalent than results, and this left Williams with only one viable option going into 2023: reconsider the 27-year-old Canadian's contract. But how will this impact Williams' finances? This coming up now and explored later in this video. Stay with us. And now, the time is up. The Williams team's decline has been steady for almost 30 years. The past 5 have been especially bad. For any F1 team to survive, deep pockets are a given. Some teams have been opting for drivers that come as a package deal. That means drivers that have financial backing. Latifi was a pay driver, which is why Williams decided to give him a run in 2020. So how did Latifi perform? Don't forget, 2020 was a hell year for Formula One because of COVID-19. In his very first race, Latifi finished 11th, and that after he qualified in 20th position. There was a lot of hope that with a finish like this in his first race, Latifi could drag an ailing Williams team up the order, but this was not to be. Further results just never came. It took until 2021's Hungarian GP for Latifi to score his first points, 6, for finishing P7, and then in the next meet in Belgium where he finished P9. He had 66 races under his belt, and those were his only points finishes. It includes his reserve driver roles in 2018 and 19. Latifi also couldn't prove his worth against his teammates George Russell, 2020 to 2021, and Alex Albon, 2022 to present, but outpaced Latifi every time. He showed no improvement. Albon couldn't race in the Italian GP because of illness. Nick de Vries stood in for him, and even as a stand-in driver, he beat Latifi in the race, coming home in P9. Latifi, a paltry P15. This all contributed to Williams' realization that persisting with him in 2023 would prove that it was all about his father's money and not about Latifi's on-track performance, and this is not good for the sport. So, now we're beginning to see Daddy Warbucks. Keep watching. But who is Michael Latifi, Nicholas's billionaire father? There are currently 2 drivers whose billionaire fathers are playing an integral part in their sons' racing careers: Lawrence Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. So what is Latifi Sr.'s background and how is he related to Williams? Latifi Sr. was born in Iran and moved to Canada as a kid. He owned one of the largest food companies, Sofina, in the 90s. He started expanding his empire by acquiring Lilydale Incorporation and a few other companies. He is worth close to $2 billion. Now, Michael Latifi almost buys the Williams team. Initially, Michael Latifi made a big noise in the F1 world when he made a large investment in the McLaren Group. He bought a 10% stake in the outfit for a reported $260 million back in 2018. But it didn't end there. When his son started racing for Williams, Michael's company Sofina Foods started sponsoring the team, and Michael was the front runner to buy Williams in 2021 before Doralton took over. What would happen if Nicholas Latifi's dad managed to buy the team he was racing for? Stay with us. And how this potential deal with Williams came about. about, Williams has had a torrid time over the past 10 years. They raced for championships in the 90s and then systematically slid into survival mode. The battle for survival was especially difficult when COVID started having its way with the world in 2021. Michael played an enormous role in ensuring Williams' survival. Through his Latifi Racing Company, he sanctioned a load. The amount was unspecified when the Williams title sponsors Rocket pulled out. The moment rumors about the Williams family's intention to sell the team began doing the rounds, Michael Latifi's name came up in the media over and over again. Gazzetta dello Sport wrote he was ready to splurge around $150 million to acquire the team. The new budget cap, he felt, meant he could make the team competitive again. It wasn't to be, however. Doralton Capital swooped in from the wings and took over the responsibilities for the team from Claire Williams. And this, folks, would probably have secured Nicholas's long-term future with the team too. Now, Williams' team principal reveals new owners' expectations. The current de facto team manager at Williams, since the departure of Claire Williams, has been Simon Roberts. He said ownership at Williams may be different, but the atmosphere in the team is the same. He also called the new owners approachable and said they were taking a long-term view of the team. They've done their research, says Roberts, and will invest accordingly. In response to a question, he said, Doralton are very realistic. They've done a lot of research. They've looked at other people that bought teams over the last 10 to 12 years and looked at the timeline from point of acquisition to competing for world championships or winning races or whatever, and they recognize this is a journey. Okay, so who exactly is Doralton Capital? Doralton Capital is a US-based concern, and they are ready to commit to the championship cause. They demand thorough accounting from Williams, no slouching with the figures, and a proper record of all expenses. There will be no free rides here. They are not just sitting there with a big pot of cash to invest. They are going to invest on a long-term basis, but we have to justify every pound we spend, said Roberts. And finally, how is the relationship between Roberts and the new owners? Roberts has been working hand in glove with the new owners. He is satisfied with their commitment to the sport and the team, and is positive about the work getting done and that the final product will be amazing. Roberts is a technical guy. The finances are new to him, but he has been dipping his toes into, as he calls it, the murky bits. He seems to understand risk-taking and the bigger picture, and also said that Doralton Capital's risk appetite will undoubtedly be a plus for Williams. There are quite a lot of similarities, which I hadn't appreciated until I talked to them about the competitiveness in the financial world, which I don't really understand. But there's a lot of translation and thinking and strategy and risk and stuff like that. All the things that we think we're great at in F1, they have quite an insight into. So there's quite a lot of synergy there. We've come to the end of this video, and we'll leave you with this thought. Maybe, just perhaps, the takeover by Doralton and the Williams decision to part ways with Nicholas Latifi and his father spells a comeback for the beleaguered team. It would be good to see them back up where they belong. Remember to keep an eye out for our next video.